Hey everyone, Wednesday evening weather for Weather Geeks time here on December the 30th. Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve. This video is going to be a little bit different this evening. We're not going to focus a lot on the future weather. I've covered that a lot over the last couple of days and not much has changed as far as our thinking. And frankly, the weather over the next week is fairly uninteresting. It's going to turn chilly, but nothing unusual for this time of the year. And then next week we'll have a slow warm-up starting around midweek. No big storms, though, coming our way. The weather kind of benign, if you will, as we roll into 2016. Real quick snapshot of what's going on this evening across the country. Some rain down in the south. They've had some flooding problems down in parts of the Carolinas and Georgia, from Atlanta up through Columbia and Charlotte and Raleigh, with a lot of lightning and thunder earlier on with these as well. Rest of the country pretty quiet by comparison. A little bit of light snow up in southeastern Canada. And when I came back from dinner, I had a couple of very fine raindrops falling on my windshield, so you might run into a touch of drizzle or a sprinkle this evening. That'll about do it. We reached the lower 40s earlier on today, and temperatures haven't moved much since. When you've got this stratus deck of clouds, typically your temperature ranges, they don't range much, I should say. Not much of a diurnal range is what we call it. So any trends tend to be very, very gentle, if you will. Temperatures won't drop much tonight. They won't rise much tomorrow. And we expect a similar situation coming up on New Year's Day. So we'll drop down to about freezing tonight. Notice all the cold air is still out to the west, and it is pushing east. Single digits out here across the Front Range of the Rockies and the High Plains this evening. We're not going to get that cold, but this colder air mass is, in fact, oozing east. And with the colder air blowing over the lakes this end of this week and into the weekend, there'll be some lake effect. Enough to shovel probably in northwest PA around Erie and Bradford, and heading up into Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties and parts of southwestern New York. Our viewing area, nothing more than really a stray flurry, I think, starting tomorrow, taking us through the weekend to someone in northeastern Mercer County. Maybe get an inch or so out of this. It's possible, but I think it's a pretty low chance. All right, as far as a year in review here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to post on my weather blog on Thursday morning a year in review. It's going to be a text blog post, not a video. But in this video, I wanted to kind of preview what I'll be talking about. One of the things I'll be doing is doing a recaps like this. This is our temperatures compared to average for each month of this year. And what a year it was for bookends. We had a remarkably cold start to the year, particularly in February. It was the coldest February on record at minus 14.7. In other words, 14.7 degrees below average. And then the end of the year was remarkably warm, especially in December. Warmest December on record, 12.5 degrees above average. And in the middle, the summer season was kind of ho-hum. We had very little departures from average in June, July, and August. As far as precipitation goes, now this is heavily skewed by the wet month of June we had, with some places picking up 10, 11, 12 inches. If it were not for June, the year as a whole would not be very remarkable at all in terms of precipitation departures. The drier than average months actually outnumbered the wetter than average months, but for the year we're at plus 5.41 inches because we had so much rain in June, and to some extent October as well. The driest month compared to average was actually November last month. It was a very dry month with 1.32 inches below average precipitation. All right, I'm going to show you a couple of the top stories I'm going to be breaking down on my blog post on Thursday. I basically called it 5 top stories in 2015, and I'm going to show you 2 of those. My fifth most interesting story, at least in my calculation, is the comfortable summer we had, and this is 2 consecutive comfortable summers. We did squeeze out 2 90-degree days this summer, and they were at the very end of the summer, really. Most of June, July, and August were very, very comfortable. In the last couple of years compared to the previous stretch, very comfortable. 2010, 11, and 12, we had between 10 and 18 90-plus days. The average is 8 or 9. All right, the number 4 story that I'll be talking about is the tornado, the EF0 tornado that impacted Hermitage back in the late spring. Very end of May, start of June was a stormy period across the region, and this, of course, flipped a car at the Sheet Station in Hermitage, caused some damage there at the gas station. Thankfully, there were no injuries or fatalities, and that's pretty typical of EF0 tornadoes with maximum sustained winds. Probably somewhere on the order of 70 to 90 miles per hour. A little brief spin-up tornado in Hermitage, our number 4 story in 2015. And the number 3 story is the wet month of June, third wettest on record. One of the wettest months overall that we've ever had here in Youngstown. The official number at the airport, close to 9 inches, But some backyards, easily 10, 11, 12 inches worth of rain in June. It was a very wet start to summer. Thankfully, the rest of the summer did not follow suit, or we would have had some serious flooding issues. So that's a couple of the top stories I'll be talking about. To see what the number 1, 2, and 3 stories of 2015 are weather-wise, be sure to check out my weather blog. That post will go online tomorrow morning on ericwfmj.com, and I'll probably shoot out a link in the evening as well. Well, this is the last weather for Weather Geeks of 2015, as I have the next couple of days off. Thanks, as always, for watching and supporting what I do on social media. Happy holidays once again to you and your family. Hope you have a prosperous and healthy 2016. Weather for Weather Geeks will be back in action on Monday, January the 4th, as things kind of get back to normal after the holidays. Again, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of this Wednesday, and again, Happy New Year.